Hi, Vesta. How are you? I'm just waiting for Krista to jump on. I hope everybody's doing okay today. It's Wedding Wednesday. I'm excited. Today we're interviewing Krista Graham with Krista Graham Events. She is also a fellow wedding planner. So we're going to talk about wedding planning and event planning and weddings during COVID and all of that good stuff. So I'm trying to get Krista to jump on. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm like, okay, wait, let's figure this out. This is my first time going live. I don't usually go
Oh, okay. I've never
live.
done it. I've been on a live, but I've never done it myself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
take all the
same.
time you need.
Same. I'm like, wait, I feel so old. I'm like, how do you work this thing? How are you?
I'm pretty good, as good as we can be, I
You
guess.
know, considering everything that's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah. Kind
So,
of.
how's business going? Well, first,
I'm,
let me back up because
yeah,
I want to first say thank you so much for doing this live. I think it's super important for small businesses to work together, for women in business to work together, especially in the same industry. I know a lot of people are like really competitive, but I think things are easier when you work together. So, thank you
absolutely.
so much for agreeing to do this. I
No
appreciate
problem. No problem.
it. So how's business going?
We're in a weird spot right now because coming out of the pandemic, people are afraid to make decisions, but
Right.
things are starting to open up, so it's kind of a weird
It's a
limbo situation.
transition. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
in between.
Mhm.
In between.
I'm excited to work, so I
I know. I'm excited. It's like a magic that happens when you're working with weddings. It's different than like other events. So I'm excited to get back to it too. There's so many things up in the air though with COVID and venues and all of
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's week to week for sure.
Yeah. So, given the pandemic and all of the changes, what are some of the things that you recommend for your clients when they book you?
Sure. So definitely, I ask for all their contracts so I can kind of read through and see what if there are any COVID clauses or anything, any language dealing with that in there. And that's one of the first things I do is reach out if there's not any language and say, okay, what happens if we have to reschedule? What
Right.
happens if we have to cancel? What are your terms on that? So just being really clear on what your wedding pros expect and being clear and communicative with them. If something changes, let them know as soon as possible. If you have questions, ask them as soon as possible because they may have to do some research in what the answer is because this is the first time we're all dealing with
Yeah.
this. So even me, I'm like,
Right.
I don't know, but I will get back to you. I'll figure it out. We'll get back to
We'll find out.
you.
A lot.
So,
I'm finding that a lot of the events were like going over details on like the weeks and even the days leading up to it, and before it was like in the months or the month before leading up to it. So it's definitely a transition when it comes to that. But let's talk about you. How
okay.
long have you been in business? Who
I
is
am in
Chris
my
Graham?
I am in my fourth year of business as a wedding planner. I've dabbled in other things before, but this is the one that's going to stick. And I'm moving toward doing it full time. I still have a full time job at the moment, which I'm very clear about with clients and other vendors and everybody. I like to be transparent with that, but I I love this job, and this is what I want to do, from now on. So,
Yeah.
4 years and counting is what I say.
Yes. And I love your work, by the way. I
Thank
think
you.
that it is very personable. And I also think that it's not, the thing that I like about wedding planning now is that we're breaking away from that traditional wedding planning mode where it's like everything has to be cookie cutter a certain way. And now things are more DIY, more outside of the box. So that's really exciting. So tell us about some of your favorite client experiences.
So honestly, my favorite client experiences have been people who want to give back to the wedding industry also.
Yeah.
I've had clients who, they put the wedding vendors on their either wedding website or on their programs, like the back of their programs, to kind of to show appreciation
Yeah.
for the work that we do. They understand that it is work. It's a lot of work, mental and physical and creative work
Yeah.
that goes into their day. So those clients that kind of know what they want and then they trust me to take their vision and kind of put my own spin on it, I really enjoy working with those people. And really anybody who doesn't want that cookie cutter wedding,
Yeah.
a lot of my clients are tattoo wearers and,
Okay,
they
those
have
are
their
some of the
dogs
best clients.
they have their dogs in the wedding. They love Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my clients actually live in Detroit. So it's a lot of those non-cookie cutter, non-traditional
Yeah.
people, but they still want a beautiful event.
Right, right. I definitely agree. I love the tattoo wearers and the crazy hair people. Those are my
Mm-hmm.
favorites because they
Yep.
are usually they have the most personality and they're super understanding and super flexible. And we always love clients like those, of course.
Yeah.
um,
Creative too. They're creative. They come with a lot of their
yeah,
own ideas.
yeah, I have been presented with ideas that I haven't quite even thought of, and I'm like, thank you for pushing me because I would not have probably gotten there on my own. So that is definitely very, 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 very appreciated when it comes to meeting clients. So let's talk about your process. So I know for us, um, we also do cakes, so we have the pickups, but we've been switching over and doing virtual consults due to COVID. Have you been doing virtual consultations too?
Yep. Yeah. Most, I would say all of them from since winter started have been virtual. So that's a
Yeah.
whole new territory too.
Are you used
Learning
to
how
the
to
Zoom calls yet?
I think I'm getting used to it. I still find it hard to convey my message through video, but
Yeah.
I think that's just me. I think they're receiving it. I just think I'm a people person and I like to be in person and I like to hug people.
Yeah.
So it's
We
just,
miss that interaction.
I know. Yeah, it's definitely strange, but definitely getting used to it. And it's a huge time saver, I think, for both the
Yeah.
client and the professional. Because, meeting in person, you're going to chit chat. It might take 2 hours of your evening.
Right.
Online, you
Get
can get it done
sidetracked.
in under an hour. It's like, really? Are we done already?
That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely in person, getting sidetracked, or especially if it's clients and you have a lot in common, you find yourself talking about so many other things. So the Zoom calls definitely force you to stay focused. But I do miss the interaction too, and seeing people's facial expressions and presenting things to them and trying to figure out the best way to work with them and make sure that their needs are being met. So I definitely agree with you on that. What is one of your favorite weddings that you've done?
I think one of my favorites, I can find things about every single one that I love, but I think my absolute favorite was, it was just a very colorful wedding. It was the bride had some off the wall ideas, and if you thought about it, you might be like, that really doesn't go together, but we worked it
Right.
out. We figured out a way to make it work, and it was beautiful. I really like color, and I like saturated color and deep or bright
Yeah.
colors. So, hers was pink and purple, and we had disco balls, and
Oh my gosh, I
the
love a
light
disco
catching
ball.
the disco ball, reflecting back on it was beautiful, and I really loved it.
Yeah, I love a disco ball. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that sounds fun. I wish I was invited just to go, just to see it. So, my next question for you. So, I know you say that you've been doing planning for about 4 years. What made you decide to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go for it and like really make this a thing?
We actually had just moved to Michigan, so I like to do things the hard way. You know, don't know anybody in the state. Let's start. Um, so I had worked previously in the medical field. I was a pharmacy technician at the hospital in Georgia,
Okay.
and it was a very stressful job. Um,
I
it
could
was
imagine anything in
I was
healthcare.
responsible for getting life-saving medications to people and making actually in the IV room making the medication and
Oh my
um,
goodness.
so I always have loved throwing parties. Back in college, I was the social chair of my building and planned big events for our North Campus. And um, so I've always been a party planner and a people person. So I figured once we made the move that I was going to step into this. And if I was going to do it, I was going to do it 100%. I'm going to go for the big one, the wedding. And I just
Go
ran with
big. Go
it.
big.
So luckily, I have my family's support. And, it's been nothing but positivity since then.
Oh, family support is extremely important when it comes to this industry too, especially since so many of our events are usually on the weekend when most people are like that's their downtime. So definitely having that support is super helpful. Um, so tell me about your family because I know that you have two, what two?
2 kids, yeah.
I'm like, I think that is just it. How do they feel about mom doing weddings? Are they excited
Um,
too?
they don't always understand why I'm always busy and why I always have meetings and everything, but they're very understanding. My daughter helps me. You met my daughter at the styled shoot we did
Yeah.
together. She comes to some events and helps me. She hasn't come to a wedding yet, but styled shoots for sure. She helps me with, and we do a little bit of balloon decorations. I've gotten away from that
Are you
right
gonna get
now.
back into it?
I think so. Excuse me. I think so. I've been getting a lot more inquiries now, and
You
it's
should.
something that's in my mind. So even if I have a couple companies I'm thinking about working with that would provide it for me,
Hmm.
um, just so I can manage my time a little bit better. But
Yeah.
hopefully. And then my son is 9, so if it doesn't have to do with Fortnite, he doesn't care.
Oh yeah. I
So,
mean, that's self-explanatory. There, he's like, "What is a wedding?" So I wanted to say we had so much fun doing a style shoot. So everybody watching, Christa reached out to us. When was it? In like September? Last September, we did a style shoot. It was at I want to say it was a winery in Fenton,
mm-hmm.
right?
Fenton Winery and Brewery. Yeah.
Yes, Fenton Winery. It was a beautiful place, by the way. It's my first time being there. I had never been there before, and I thought the location was super nice. So thank you for inviting us to be a part of that. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I have been saying I wanted to do a style shoot for the longest too, and I just never actually went ahead and went for it. So you reached out, and it was like perfect timing. So what do you like the most about doing style shoots?
I like that it's 100% our vision. It's when a client comes to me, they have a vision. It's their wedding that we put together. But when we do a styled shoot, it's all of it's. I like to say I think it's a book talking about somebody's zone of genius. But I
Yeah,
always say I get wedding vendors that are able to work in their own zone of genius and just
right.
the collaboration. And we might start with an inspiration board, but the concept grows and evolves and just to see everybody's take on everything, but it all
Yeah.
comes together into a cohesive event. The pictures always look amazing. Of course, it's always nice to have, new pictures to throw up on your website or social media, just to keep things fresh. But I think my favorite part is that it's our vision that we're collaborating on and pulling off together.
Yeah. I so I want to say that was probably maybe my third style shoot. But I definitely agree on you when you say that it's all about the different takes on it, because you're literally given just a palette or a theme, and you can take it so many different ways. So it is also super nice to see everything come together. And I also like style shoots too, because you get to meet with other vendors and be supportive of them, and it definitely gives you the opportunity to have those contacts so you can work with other people again. um, and like I mentioned before in the beginning of this live, especially when you're in the same industry as people, it's super important that everybody collaborates, because even if it's like an event where you're booked, you will feel more comfortable referring someone out that you've worked with before. So style shoots are super exciting and very important for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
So on to my next question.
Yeah.
um, what do you recommend to clients who are looking to work with you in within the next year or so, as we still navigate through this pandemic? What can they expect?
So they can expect, I try, especially with my full planning clients, to have a point of contact at least every month, face to face, whether that's going to be in person or video. I like to try and keep in touch regularly so that we can make sure we're both on the same page. And, I always give them homework, and I always have homework, of course, to work on over the next few weeks. We're usually constantly emailing back and forth. In a normal year, the pandemic has slowed things down a lot. So, the weddings that are like at the end of the year, I haven't been, as in contact with them as I usually would be, but we just don't know what's going to happen. So
Right.
being very flexible, trying new things, making backup plans. That's what you can expect when you're planning a wedding in a
Yeah.
pandemic.
Even backup venues too. I've
Yeah.
been asking my clients too if they have, if their venue is indoors, if it's like a summer wedding, if they have a backup outdoor wedding just in case there are restrictions.
Mhm.
Um, Also, as you mentioned before, checking the vendor clauses and see how flexible everyone is with cancellations or schedule changes or anything like that. Um, I didn't even realize that it was going to be, I think that I kind of took for granted pre-COVID, like all the things I didn't have to worry about, because it was just things that were like guaranteed
Mhm.
until COVID happened. And then it was like, okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. I remember when we first went into lockdown, I wrote a long blog post about, okay, don't freak out, guys. We don't know what's happening. Then looking back, I'm like, okay, I was a little Pollyanna about it. Like, trying not to worry too much, trying
But we
not
didn't know
to,
what to expect.
yeah. And I mean, keeping my clients calm and, trying to keep them calm, cool, and collected, that's my goal. So, if I can keep them calm, I can freak out behind the scenes. It's not a problem.
They
I'll
don't
get
have
the
to
word
know
out. I'll
about
figure
that.
it out.
Yeah, they don't have to know about that. There's the freakouts behind the scenes, but once we show up, you put on the face, and superhero planner comes in mind, and then you just go for it.
Yeah. And I
So,
do have to say that our area has been incredibly wonderful with postponements and
oh
everything.
yeah,
I have not ran into very many issues with the wedding pros in our area about, charging for cancellations or charging for rescheduling. Everybody's been incredibly flexible.
yeah. No, I haven't. That was something that was really important to me, and I made sure that with all of our clients, we added a clause where if they booked with us and their date changed, or there was any need for a reschedule or anything like that, that they could transfer any payments or deposit within 1 year from their original date. So that was super important to me, that people know that we're still here for them, that we're ready to assist and pivot when needed.
Mhm.
Um, Because even though weddings are already stressful, we have the pandemic on top of it, it's still an exciting time. It's still being engaged and wanting to have family and friends around, and it's still such a great moment. And I think that as planners, we try to take that weight off of our clients so that they can just enjoy the moment. And I'm really proud of the wedding pros in our area too, because I feel like they have been more lenient and forgiving and more communicative when it comes to working with other vendors. So that's super important. So tell us about your blog. Because
So,
Krista has a blog too, guys.
I do have a blog. It is not as updated as I would like it to be. It is my goal to update it more regularly. But I put advice there. I love putting all my weddings, and once I get the galleries from the photographers, I'm very excited to write the post and kind of tell the story of how the wedding unfolded.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the styled shoots too. I think I still need to write the blog about our styled shoot we did together.
I know. I was going to revisit that too. So maybe we'll have to like schedule another meeting where we can combine our ideas on that
Yeah.
one. We do have to do another shoot too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And we did get featured in Wedding Day magazine, so they
Yay.
wrote up a nice story too that people can go look at if they want to see those pictures. But it will be on my blog soon.
Okay. And just for reference, your blog is on your website, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Will you tell everyone how to find you, book you, work with you?
Yep. So if you go to my website, christagraham.com, the best way to contact me is there's a contact form you can fill out, and it will send it right to my email. And I always respond myself. It's not an automated, form letter that you get. It's customized answer to any questions you have in your specific situation. So I like to say I will answer within 48 hours, but it's usually quicker than that.
Usually. We have to give up effort though sometimes.
Yeah.
So I understand. the need for that. Did you have any questions for me? Or anything that you would like to add, I should ask?
No, I want to ask you, what do you have going on? Are you have anything exciting coming up?
Always exciting things. So my next wedding is next Wednesday. We have been working on the blog. So the funny thing is when COVID first shut everything down in March of last year, we had just had our storefront grand opening, and we were open for all of a month before we had to like shut back down. So I have been taking this time, same as you, rescheduling weddings, working with clients, trying to pivot a little bit. And the reason why I decided to do a blog as well is because I wanted to help connect clients to vendors, so they can see that we're people too. I think sometimes we get so caught up in it being a transaction that sometimes people forget that we're people with lives and we do things and we have stuff going on. But we happen to be really great at what we do because we enjoy it so much. So I've been working on the blog, working on cakes, working on planning, all of the things. Same as you, trying to balance it all with the kids and schooling and all of that.
And your storefront is
open. I'm like anybody else.
Your storefront is open again, right?
Yes, it is open. That's a phone ringing. Uh-oh. If anybody's on the live calling me right now, I'll call you back. The storefront is open now, but we're open 2 days a week, Fridays and Saturdays. We're open 12 to 5 Fridays and 10 to 3 Saturdays. But I try to be open at least 2 weeks a month. Last week we were closed because we had events both Saturday and Sunday. And we're in that awkward growing stage where I'm still doing most of the things, but I'm training to start outsourcing. So yeah, still only taking on so many weddings. And yeah, like we said before, doing virtual consultations to try to keep everybody safe. Um, and I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to live the dream just like you.
Mhm. Exactly.
So thank you so much for jumping on this live. Hi
No.
Todd. I see Todd just said hey. Did you see
Hey,
the
Todd.
interview we did with Todd Everett?
I haven't yet. I'll have to go back and look.
You have to go back and look. He was awesome.
I think I
So
did meet him at a not the not event at one point or another.
yeah, that's what I said. I think that we met him like originally at Noah's a couple years ago.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. But he was great to work with too. And then I'm excited because next week Monica agreed to talk to us. So I'm looking forward to talk to her next week too. So I'm really excited about bringing everybody together and meeting all the vendors. And I hope that we can get you back on too, so we can do a follow up. Let me
Sure.
know when the blog is up and going. When you're ready, we can do another collab that and another style shoot.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
That's good. All right. Thank you so much.
No
I think
problem.
we're
Thank
about to
you.
get off. Let's see. Do we have any questions? I don't think we have questions. Um, Somebody put community over competition.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's so much better when you work with other people. It's everything doesn't have to be a me versus you. Us DJs definitely appreciate what you all do. We love the DJs.
Yep. They get the party
They help
going.
get the party started.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think that's it. All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
Krista.
You're welcome. I'll
Have
talk
a
to you
good
soon.
day. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.